Hello, 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 hello. We are back with another episode of the Wayz Podcast. Yeah, that's when the claps should have came.
I thought it should have started before.
And we are your hosts, as always. Yanaa.
Big Lex.
Big motherfucking Lex in the building. You know it wouldn't be a Wayz podcast, so I didn't say it like that. Anyways.
You're right. Anyways.
Come ride, she'll by my side. Come take a ride, with me.
So today we are going to talk about religion. And I know it's a touchy subject for some people because there's so many different religions all around the world, all just in the country. We know the main ones, right? Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Those are
you consider those the main ones?
The main big ones that most people are a part of, yes. But Christianity, I feel like, is in sections because they have like Catholic, they have like Mormon, which I don't think Mormon is really the same, but they have like different kind of like. But
so
no,
what does Baptist fall under? Is that
Christian? I believe, yeah. That doesn't fall into Judaism in my opinion.
It does. I mean, I thought it was its own category.
Probably Baptist, Catholic.
Because if you have your own church, then it falls under its own category.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think most people are a part of either Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. Those are like the main three. You know, at least that's what, that's what I've heard. But anyways, religion. I don't want to start off heavy. I want to kind of ease into it to get Lex's opinion about it first. So let's just talk about the main person, the G-O motherfucking D. Let's just start there. So you believe in God, Lex?
Yes.
Perfect. I do too. I believe in God. I believe in higher power. Do you have a religion that you practice or that you would say you kind of closely identify to?
No. No.
Look at her pulling out the necklace.
But I went to a Baptist school.
You did?
Yeah.
When?
College.
Oh, that school's Baptist?
Yeah. I didn't know that till I got there. So I know. There was like, when I got my schedule and they were like chapel, I was like, what is chapel?
You did say something about chapel, but I didn't know it was a religious school.
Yeah.
When you were talking about it before you left. It was Wiley, right?
Yeah. So Monday you had class. Tuesday, if you had class, like I had class, me and my roommate had class in the morning.
Right.
8, maybe it was like 7, because 7 to like 8, and then 9 o'clock is chapel. But I thought chapel, I thought they made the freshmen go to chapel. Right. Because that's how it was for like my brother. My brother went to a school. I can't think of what it's called.
Okay, so she's gonna give us an example and not give us all the information.
I can't think of what his school was called.
So he went to like a religious school.
We had class on Tuesday, or if you had class in the morning, 7 to like 8, and then like 9 o'clock was like chapel. I thought the first day that it was chapel just for freshmen,
right?
But it's the whole school. So like, there's no class from like 10 to like 12, and then like chapel was from like 10 to 12, which it never lasted that long. Right. I mean, when I say that long, I mean it went over.
Right. Wow. But so when you went to Wiley, did you like chapel? Did you feel anything from it or what?
I liked it. I was probably like really into it because it was like going to a church, like a very black church. Like,
oh yeah, because it was in Texas.
Guys,
yeah.
Listen, you guys don't know. I was so clueless. Like I was looking like, what the freak?
Oh.
What kind of button is that?
That's crickets. I was trying to do this one.
Oh,
a black church.
It was the strangest thing ever.
Was it really?
Yeah. They had a choir, but in my mind, like from California,
right?
My church is white, or the church that I would say is my church is white. Mm-hmm. They have a choir, and it's like, hey,
Hey, get on up, Lord. Okay.
Yeah, Lord. Yeah. It was not like that.
Yeah.
Like, their choir was something different. I was sitting there in amazement, like, are they singing this? And they're an a cappella choir.
That's kind of cool. You know, black people can sing, baby.
I was sitting there like,
black people can sing.
They were like, you okay? I was like, I don't, this is amazing. Why y'all leaving so early? Why y'all, they sliding down in their seats, falling asleep. I'm like, y'all see this? Like, this is a whole black choir. Like, the main attraction to the school is the choir. Mm-hmm. So, like, you go to another school for, like, football or baseball, you go to Wiley for the choir. I thought it was weird. That's until cool. I met the choir, and I was like, oh, snaps. They are not joking around.
Oh, my gosh. That's
and they're
cool.
a cappella. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah. That's a cool experience, though. I'm glad you got to, like, experience that.
Yeah.
Going to, like a black church. And
I mean, I've been to black churches before, but this was different. Like, everyone could sing. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the choir could sing.
Right.
The choir director was black. Mm-hmm. They all matched, which I thought was like,
that is so cute. I love that.
They walked in stomping, like, it was crazy. I have to put the link down there. And they're winning. I think they're
Wiley Choir, you guys.
The top choir
in Texas. What city? Marshall, Texas. Wiley Choir. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Black Excellence real quick. Let's give them a little applause.
I was about to hit the wrong one.
I think we always gotta do that. You know, it's funny. In the first episode, I said I was gonna be a beast at the soundboard. I have not conquered it yet.
Even though the words are right there.
Because I have them up now today, so we can see them. But they don't even know our flaws. Anyways,
it's not a flaw. I don't remember the colors of the pads. And these lights are so bright you can't even see the dang colors.
The lights are kind of bright today, but our melanin is popping. But anyways, so growing up, were your parents religious or no? Because if your brother, I'm like curious, like your brother went to a Catholic school.
I think he just went to a Catholic school.
Gotcha. Was it just a school he wanted to go to? Like,
it was a school that gave him a scholarship.
I still feel that. Let's clap for that. Scully, that's what's up.
I don't think you have to necessarily like the school that you go to.
Right. You don't?
No, because sometimes you not liking it or not knowing what is there can be a great experience.
Right. That's crazy. So your parents were religious. I actually had my mother's side was Muslim and my father's side was Christian.
Oh, that's not that bad.
No, but I actually was kind of an atheist when I was a child.
Well,
I'm not even gonna lie.
What the heck? Yeah, that was more of the perfect one, but yeah, that was.
Yeah, I did not believe in God as a child, and I think it was because I'm gonna tell you why. I just remember this one time, Harry Potter was hella popping back when we was youngins. I want to say I was probably like, and when I think back, I'm like, damn, I was 9, 10 reading Harry Potter books. That shit's crazy. Like we were hella young when those books came out. I was like 9 or 10, and my dad took me to the mall, and we were gonna get a Harry Potter book. And my grandma calls him, and is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "We're gonna get a Harry Potter book for Clea." My grandma's like, "Those books are demonic." So my dad didn't buy me a Harry Potter book. And I think that kind of shaped, it was a lot of things, not just that, but I think like that was kind of the start of shaping the way that I kind of felt about God. I used to go to church with my dad and, well, not with my dad, with my grandparents. And I used to get in trouble for like falling asleep. That was boring, hella long. I didn't know what they were talking about.
What kind of church did you go to?
I don't know. Regular.
There's very different kind of churches. Is what I'm saying.
A big, huge church in LA.
Still, is different kind of churches.
I don't know. I was like 9, 10, 8 years old. Okay. So I don't really remember, but I do know the way that I felt about Christianity as a whole and Islam. Like I used to do things like participate in Eid with my mom's family. And if you guys are Muslim, you know what Eid is. But Eid, and I can't really speak too much about it because I don't really know. It's just like, this is like when I was younger. Like after Ramadan, after you do the fasting and everything, there's Eid after. And I learned like this poem in Arabic.
Right.
And I went to my grandparents' house and I had it in my pocket. And it fell out. And my dad's like, you need to be doing this.
Right.
I'm like, dude, like,
I don't really have a choice.
you know, like I'm just with my family, just like doing what we do. But I'm actually not an atheist now. So there is a God. There is a God. I believe in God very strongly, but I'm not religious. If that makes sense. I don't think that one deserved a one, but do you know what I mean? Like,
No.
Okay, so what I mean is like me and God have our own relationship. I've read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bible is probably the only book that I've read as far as like religion goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've researched maybe like Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked a little bit more into Islam because I used to go to the mosque or the masjid when I was younger, but like that was way like 11 and younger when I lived in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So as like when I got older and I started to try to find a faith and like what I believed in, there was a lot of things that I looked into. I read the Bible in its entirety.
Uh-huh.
There are some things that I take from it. There are a lot of things that I left with it. I think it's a good book for lessons, regardless of whether you're religious or not. But for me, I don't identify as like Christian, Muslim, anything like that. I actually got my faith, and people are gonna like think that this is crazy if you don't know anything about this. I wouldn't even call it a religion. It's just a practice, so to speak. But I got into paganism really heavy. Don't put no womps because it's not actually what you think. And I think
I believe I know what it is.
You know what paganism is? Do you know anybody that practice paganism?
I know about. I want to say
then.
They're a family now. It was
family.
Like I knew one person, and then she married the other person that I knew,
Right.
knew about it. I don't know if he was practicing it, but they then got married. I was like, oh, you guys are perfect.
That's really cool. I think because dipping into that, just giving some basics on paganism. Paganism is more of a religion that celebrates the earth and the universe rather than a god. And I still believe in God, so don't I don't necessarily take that from it. But instead of there being a good and a bad, they believe in balance. You know, so it's more so like you there's no evil and there's no good, there's no heaven, there's no hell. There's balance and there's cycles, life, rebirth, and things like that. And so I think I strongly believe with that and identify with some of those principles. I wouldn't say that I'm paganism.
Right.
I mean, I'm paganism. I wouldn't say I'm a pagan, is what I mean. But I do believe in balance.
I don't think anybody should call themselves that, but continue.
I mean, some people do, and they practice it. But the thing about paganism, which is really cool, is there's not one way to practice it.
Right.
There are certain core principles and certain core beliefs, but you can practice it in your own way. And some people, you know, they do witchcraft or whatever they do along with it, and it's not what you think. It's not. And I know that sounds so.
She said
crazy.
Some people practice witchcraft, but it's not what you think.
It's not. It's actually the same thing as like when people say manifesting. It's in the same category. It just goes by a different name. And the reason, and I studied this. I have books on it. I studied it for probably 5 years maybe. I was really lost and trying to look for something to believe in. You know, I talked to a lot of people that were in the religion. The term witchcraft and magic and being a witch, it's not really casting spells on people. It's using herbs and using certain rituals, and we all use rituals in a way. Yeah, we do.
Have you never seen Hocus Pocus?
It's not like that. That is a very dramatized example of what
a witch is.
Being a witch is. Yeah, it's very dramatized. And mostly what they believe in is the earth. So they just use things to help them, like when people manifest, like using herbs for health. That's considered being a witch. Saying rituals, they're not putting spells on people. I promise you. It's just like using, what do you call it? Affirmations.
I know people that believe that they believe in God, and believe that God and Jesus are the same person. Do you believe that, or you're like they're two different people?
I don't necessarily believe in Jesus.
So do you believe that you don't believe in Jesus at all, or you don't believe that Jesus is God's son?
I believe in Jesus as a metaphor.
A metaphor for God?
No, for humans that how am I trying to say it? That carry out God's will. Do you know what I mean? Like
Not at
humans. Okay, so because I read the Bible and the way that I see it is like we're all God's children, right? Every single one of us.
Right.
Some of us just make different decisions than others. And Jesus was an example of somebody who was almost the perfect human in God's eyes. He did everything as far as being super compassionate, not being judgmental,
Right.
helping people.
Correct.
He didn't have idols. You know, he obeyed God. He was the best one, like the prototype for what humans are supposed to be like. So I don't necessarily believe that Jesus was a person like that was like, oh man, God had a baby with a woman, immaculate conception. No, because if the way that God made things is the way that it's supposed to be, I don't necessarily believe in that, case in point. But I also don't believe in a lot of stuff in the Bible because I believe it's a tool used to control people. But that's my own opinion.
Yeah. So you don't believe that? So you don't believe in the part where he says that God says that this is his son, or you think that he's just saying that like how he says in the Bible that all people are his kids? You know what I'm saying?
I kind of do. But I think my answer to that is very broad because I don't really believe in the Bible verbatim, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't believe in it word for word. Like, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. I take it as like a collection of stories that are meant to give us guidance. I don't take it literal.
Okay, do you believe that it was told from first person?
No, I don't.
So you think it was just a story told?
Yes, from many points of view, from many different people's experiences. But I don't think it's a literal thing. And I think that that's part of why I don't believe in Christianity, because I believe they take it so literally.
That is correct. I believe that you are dead on the money about that.
So I'm like, whoa. But that's my thing. Christians take and this is no offense to any Christians.
Yeah.
But I feel like Christians take it literally until it's them. They take what they want to take from it, and they'll literally, it's literally this way.
So do you don't believe like, so Jesus is not someone you believe of, so he didn't die on a cross and he's not paying for our sins?
No, not necessarily. I believe that that's a metaphor, like I said, for like, I think that we all at a certain point pay for the sins of another. I think that, I don't know how to explain it, but I think that there are things that might happen to us,
right,
that have nothing to do with us.
That
because of somebody, and what I mean by this is like, for example, families, right? There are things that happen in families that we get affected by that we didn't necessarily cause. They say generational curses, right?
Yeah, because I'm definitely cursed.
Right.
Continue.
I have that too, but we have nothing to do with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just is because of something that our ancestors did, or something that somebody in our family did. And I believe that at a certain point, everybody has to feel the, effects of it. Or, you can be living in a certain house. So I don't necessarily believe in Jesus literally. I believe
a
it
person.
was
So
not as a person.
That whole part of him talking in the Bible just doesn't exist to you.
I don't say it doesn't exist. I just, like I said, I don't take it literally. I take everything like metaphorically.
Okay, so Adam and Eve.
I take it metaphorically.
So there was no Adam, there was no Eve. They did not birth the world.
I don't believe the story went down exactly the way that it was supposed to go down.
Okay, what about Noah and the ark?
I don't believe that story went down the way it was supposed to go down either. And I'm going to tell you why. I have an example for why I don't necessarily believe in that.
Okay.
Because you know how I am about history, first of all. So the Bible would be history of the beginning people.
So it's history because you don't believe that it was told first person.
No, I mean, if it was, no matter what it was told, it's supposed to be history, right? Because like you said, Adam and Eve are supposed to be pretty much the mother and father of the earth,
correct,
right? Noah was pretty much, him and his family were the only people that were allowed to stay when God wiped out the earth,
correct,
from all of the sins and all of the badness that was happening, right?
Correct.
So in my opinion, it's just like this. I don't even believe now in times today we can get the story absolutely correct. Somebody can tell you a story about, hey, and back then they didn't have the same type of stuff that they had now.
Right.
Right. So Noah didn't know everybody. Yeah, he spoke to God. You know what I'm saying? He had his own relationship with God. And so whatever God believed him, that's what he did. And that's what he was told. Do I believe that the whole earth was flooded at a certain point? Maybe. Do I believe that Noah was the only one that survived? No. Do I believe that Because I just think back then, yeah. And I'm like, in the freaking BCs, it took us however long to build these big old ships. Do I really believe he's building an ark? Maybe, but maybe not. I just don't take it literally. I think that there's just certain parts I can take that I can relate to my life. And I can see the lesson in that. Like a movie. You know what I mean? I can watch a movie that is completely make-believe, and it's not something that actually happened, but it's a metaphor for something that might happen in life, for something that somebody else went through, and they make it digestible for other people to believe. So I don't believe in the Bible literally, but I do believe in God. So Jesus, I guess I don't really believe in him as a person. Like that was exactly what happened. No, I don't necessarily believe that. But that's just my own opinion. I don't think that I'm right or wrong. You know, that's just my own interpretation of like God. But what do you think? Do you believe in?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Bible. Why do I believe in God? Why do I believe
not God? I mean,
like the Bible
anything.
As a whole?
Yeah.
I just don't see any holes in the story. I know it's a story, and you could, and no matter what, I think that the story is interpreted the way that whoever is reading it is going to interpret it differently than how I interpret it. To me, when I read the Bible or hear stories about the Bible, it's always someone's point of view of the Bible. So even when I read the Bible, it's just a point of view. When I speak of it, it's a point of view. No matter what Bible you go to, you can go to a Bible from 2014, or like we have a Bible at my house that is like 1902 or whatever. The story doesn't change, even though times have changed. My grandfather's Bible looks exactly like my Bible, even though my Bible is got color and his does not. It's the same story. I don't think that they would continue to copy a story if they believe that it is completely fabricated. That's just my thought of it. Maybe there's holes in the stories, but no matter what the story says or what the Bible says, people interpret it. That's why you like one church more than you like the other, because it's interpreted differently. He might tell the story verbatim to his church, but everyone still interprets it differently.
Gotcha.
So to me, God and Jesus have to be two different people, just because based off of how they speak in the Bible. Everything that happens in the Bible, I believe, had to happen at some point, because it only makes sense for the world. Maybe not the world of today, since we're like so weird ahead, but like the world that my grandfather talks of, it makes sense. The entire Bible makes sense, because the stuff that he goes through, I'm like, Noah probably did survive. If that's what you had to deal with, you're right. He definitely flooded the world, because, I mean, that only makes sense to me.
Well, the Bible does kind of make sense today if you put it in times. I mean, there's floods and things that happen like that all the time.
Yeah,
that kill
but
people,
I don't
and some
think
people survive.
Some people survive.
Or one person survives.
One thing the Bible says is that he did that on purpose. Like these other things, I think is like a warning to the world. Like,
gotcha.
That he says that he's one day going to come back. Hurricane Katrina. What's the latest one? Whatever. Catherine. I think is one. Those are like warnings to the world, because like there are many floods that happen, and every flood somebody dies. Right. Every tornado, something, someone's house, those are like warnings. But when he speaks of when he flooded the world, it is a different, in the Bible at least, when he speaks of flooding the world, like he's fed up, he's done.
Gotcha.
It's time to restart. It's over, and we're the restart of that generation, right? So the flooding now is to me like a warning that he's coming back. COVID, something massive that happened to not just the United States but the entire world, is like, I'm warning you that I'm coming back. I just haven't picked my time, but I am coming back, because you guys don't deserve this world anymore. I do believe that one day he will come back. I just hope I'm not here when that happens.
Well, well, maybe that's why I don't believe in Jesus necessarily.
No, Jesus doesn't say that, does he?
No, I'm just going off of what you said, because like what you were talking about with God and God coming back and all that, because I don't necessarily believe that the God in the Bible is the way that God is. I don't necessarily
You don't believe he turns water into wine? Oh, that's Jesus. Sorry.
That's Jesus. I don't believe that God is, because God did a lot of horrible shit to people.
Right.
In the Bible.
But so God of today, right? All the good that he's done, right? He gave, for example, right, in the beginning of the Bible was Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah.
He gave them, the fruit. They can eat all this fruit, but he left this tree and told them not to eat this tree.
Right.
So what made her eat the tree? What made her eat the apple off the tree? Not God. That was clearly someone else.
But here's my thing.
So do you don't believe in the devil?
I do not. I don't believe in the devil in the way that he's made up to be.
I don't know if he has horns and stuff like that, but
I don't. I believe in humans coming to their own consciousness, and I believe that we've lost our way and we're not as connected to God. But do I believe that God is punishing us for that? No. I don't believe that God punishes people in that way.
Right.
Because I believe that even when I read the Bible, and that's why I'm like, I take some stuff from it and some stuff I don't take from it. Like, there was a lot of people in the Bible that were messed up,
right,
and that did a lot of horrible things. There were whores, there were, people that were killing their brothers, and right, there was a bunch of people. There right, were human people. And my thing is, if God made us in his own image, right, we're not that far from God, except we just are not. God is supposed to be all knowing. Right. So why wouldn't he have known already what was going to happen? But you're going to punish people for something that you already had the foresight to see? I don't believe it. I don't believe in the Christian God. I believe that everything that happens with us, I believe God has a hand in it, and I believe God gives us what we ask for, and it doesn't always look the way that it's supposed to look. I believe that we are taught lessons here. I believe the human experience is made for us to learn lots of things that God already knows. But I don't believe that he punishes us for making mistakes. And I think that that's part of why I don't like the Christian religion, because they use those type of things to judge people. So when you make a mistake, then whose is that? It's yours. But I'm not saying I don't believe in consequences, but I believe consequences and judgment are a human thing. I don't believe that's a God thing, because God knows. So God knows what's going to happen before it happens. But God also knows that he made imperfect people. Right. So I don't believe he would punish people for being what he made them to be. Do you get what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff in the Bible, God knew was going to happen. Yes. And it's not that, and people can say, oh, well, we have free will, but God knows what's happening. There's one or the other. I'm not saying that we don't have the choice to make our own mistakes, but I believe that God knows he made imperfect people. And I believe if God wanted to make someone perfect, he would. And so that's what I'm saying. If Jesus is real, why aren't there 1,000 and 10 more Jesuses of perfect people that were made? We're imperfect in God's image, because God, he's imperfect. But do I believe that he's going to punish us for being like him? No, that's a human thing. That's not a God thing. I don't believe that someone that of that stature and of that power would do things that humans do, which is something we do. We punish each other, and we have consequences, and we have judgment upon each other. And my God that I know, that I have a relationship with, doesn't do that. And I'm not saying that somebody else's God is not like that. You can believe in whatever God or whatever person you want to believe. Mm-hmm. But the person that I have the relationship with, he knows I'm imperfect. He knows my heart, and he gives me a chance every day when I wake up in the morning to be a better person, and he doesn't punish me for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't necessarily believe that, but then I also don't believe that things like hurricanes and tornadoes and natural disasters are punishments. I believe that the world is made in a certain way, and there's a cycle. And that's why I think I closely relate to paganism, because it's about balance. It's not about punishment. It's not about good or bad. I think the world is. And it's an experience. And I think death and things like that are not necessarily punishments. They're cycles. And so maybe that's why I don't necessarily believe in Christian God. I think that it was written from a human's point of view at a whatever certain type of time to control other people into doing good, or into doing what humans believe is good. But it's... Well, if that was the case, just hypothetically, if that was the case, that guy needs to be fired, because we've had some of the worst things happen here on God Green's earth, and the Bible is
in your saying, to blame for it if someone wrote it.
No, I don't think the Bible is to blame necessarily. But this is the thing. I think humans put good and bad on things. And I don't think that things that we deal with are good or bad. I think it's balance. I think that in order for you to know this, you have to know this.
So in order for there to be a blue, there has to be a red.
There has to be. You wouldn't know happy without knowing sad. How? That's not possible. It would just be the norm.
You need to know hell before you know heaven.
I guess so. So do you think that this is hell? Because the next place that we're supposed to go to is heaven, right?
No, I don't believe this is hell, but I do believe that there is a hell.
I don't believe in hell. I don't really believe in heaven either. So maybe that's where I'm like, I believe that that's a thing. And the only reason why I say that is because of patterns.
Yes, we'll never know, huh? Because I don't want to go to heaven.
Right? We won't know.
I mean, I want to go to heaven. You know,
we won't never know. But I don't. I think that there are a lot of things that humans have put words to and have put. I know feelings. I know intuition. I know what I believe, right? And everything that we see as a bad thing is not necessarily a bad thing. Like I can think of a couple human things that people will be like, man, this is such a horrible thing. And you can think, man, God is punishing me for doing this. But is it God punishing you? Or is it just that you have to do something? You have to lose things to gain things, right? So people will say, why did God kill my cousin? You know what I mean? And they'll blame God for that as if life and death is not a part of being human. You know what I mean? And so I don't believe it's a punishment. I believe that that's a part of balance and it's a part of the cycle. And when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, you know? And I don't mean that in the most negative. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in like, I think we are the ones that put the bad and good feelings from it. When you lose your job, you feel bad about it, right? Because you've lost your source of income, which income is what? A human thing. That's not a God thing. God put all these things on this earth for us to enjoy them. And someone, a human, decided, I want to control this. I don't think it has anything to do with the devil. I think we do have free will. And I think sometimes people stray from God. And when you're far from God, you don't have that intuition. You don't have that compassion. You don't have that care. But I believe he's always waiting for you to come back to him. And you can speak to him at any time. And you don't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? You can know that you're not a perfect person and admit that. And you can choose to wake up the next day and live your life. And God is going to still love you the same without punishing you for it. But that's my own beliefs and my own relationship with the God that I have. Because I'm far from perfect. And I believe that even in the times where I was at what I felt to be my lowest, he's been there for me. And he's given me everything I've needed. You know, and shown me everything that I needed to see. But I'm not saying that. But I also do believe that everybody has their own relationship with God. Right. So if you believe in the Christian Bible and you believe that's your relationship with God, right? You know what I mean? Mine is just not like that. But to each its own. I think there's many different religions, and I think that that's part of why I don't believe in one or the other, because they all pretty much say the same thing, just differently. Because Christianity is not the only religion, right? There's Islam, there's Buddhism. Of course, they have their own little symbol spin on it, and and whatever they do. But they pretty much all say the same thing. So there is a God, right? Or else there wouldn't be so many different people dedicated to believing in it and praising this God. I just think that just knowing that, the same way like there's a bunch of different grocery stores and there's a bunch of different this and there's a bunch of different that, I think religion is a human thing. I think that the way that religion is made and the sets of rules that we are supposed to follow based off of these books is a human thing. And they make money off of it. If Christian churches didn't make money off of being religious, maybe I'd believe a little bit differently that it had something to do with God. Yeah. There's a lot of capitalism in the in the religious society.
I mean, I'm not denying that. They definitely
But that's I'm not trying to say anything about anybody else, you know. I just think we all as humans, we have our innate, you know, of what we believe. And I don't think anybody's wrong and I don't think anybody's right. You know, I think we don't know, really, because we've never seen this man or entity.
What?
We've never seen God with our eyes.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't think you've ever laid your eyes on God. Like, do you know what he looks like? No. He's a feeling. He's in your heart. He's an internal thing.
Where's my black Jesus at?
That's Jesus. That's not God. But Jesus was a human.
And I think that's what we keep forgetting. Jesus was a human. He was not God.
So God is a figure?
No, I don't think God is a figure. I think God is just like everything else. I mean, like, the air is there, but we can't see it. You know, there's things that we've made as humans, we've created that we can see, because I think it makes sense to our brains. But I think that the things that you inherently know, you can't see.
Okay, so you don't believe in Jesus at all?
I didn't say I don't believe. I just don't take it literally. I don't take it as like, oh man, God put this baby in this woman, and this is God's actual son with 50% of his DNA. I don't. No.
So you don't think he was a person, or you think he was just a person?
I think he could have been a person. Do I think that he was?
He wasn't as grand as he is explained in the Bible.
No, I don't think that he wasn't as grand. I think that he's an example of someone who follows God's rule. I think he's the example of a human who's selfless, compassionate, who doesn't have the negative thoughts and the negative things that we have as humans. I think that that's an example of what God would like us to be in Christian terms, you know. But then there's other people in other religions. There's other prophets. Jesus exists in other religions as a prophet, but he's not. He doesn't play that importance role, you know, that he does in Christianity. I think Jesus is a Christianity thing. I think that there are probably symbols and people that are examples of what Jesus could be or what Jesus was. But I just don't take it literally as like, this is God's, you know, offspring.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. Was Jesus black? I know everyone is drilling a hole in my head because
Now that's a loaded question too.
What?
And I'm going to tell you why.
What was Jesus?
I believe race is also a social thing.
Oh, hell, but let's just hurry up.
I'm not saying Jesus is white. I'm not saying Jesus is black. I think that black and white is a thing created by humans to separate us. Okay. I don't believe.
So in the Bible, when they describe Jesus, you don't take what they said as them describing him.
I do take what they said as describing him. I think my default that I see is black because I'm black. In any book that I read a book about characters that have no pictures, I'm picturing them black. Regardless.
So you wouldn't say that the description of what they describe Jesus to be is black.
I guess so, but everybody's black, but that's a topic for another day. You laugh, but if we all inherently came from the same two people and they're black, wouldn't that make
I didn't say nothing about no Adam
that'd make everybody black, wouldn't it?
You didn't hear me say Adam and Eve was black.
The more you know. But how could Adam and Eve not be black? If Jesus is black,
because
why would God not be black? Which would mean if he created people in his image, would they not be black?
Well, they don't have to be black. No, I did not say Adam and Eve. And Adam is not really his dad. It's just God, right? So Adam could
I know,
white.
but I'm saying human race.
Right.
That's why I said Adam and Eve, the human race. Everybody's black.
Eve could be black. We'll just say for thoughts. Eve could be black. And Adam could be white. Because he's not Jesus' dad. So he could actually be white.
I'm going to say
I don't believe that he was white, but that's just me saying.
I believe white and black makes sense here on earth. I don't believe that God is sitting there like white person, black person, white person, black person, white person, black person. I don't believe that. I believe that, like I said, that's a social construct made to create a divide between people because my son thinks he's white. Why? Based off of the color of his skin. And I'm a black woman who made the shot. And black women make different colors all the time. They make different colors, different hairstyles. A black person can have blonde hair. A black person can have blue eyes. So I think inherently based on where you live determines your skin color, where your people were from, you know? And I don't necessarily think that when we think about religion, white or black matters that much. I think that's a human thing. I think there are a lot of things that we as humans have put on religion that don't matter. Religiously speaking. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't give you the answer. I'm always complicated in that way. I'm sorry that I didn't have the Jesus was black answer. But like I said, every book that I read, every character's black. I never pictured any characters as anything other than black. If they describe them with like fair skin or light skin, they're still black to me. either way, because I know a bunch of people that are black that are like that. I think that that's a thing to every people argue over whether Jesus is black or white. Why does it matter? If Jesus exists and he's a person that was as good as he was and he did all the stuff that he did, why does it matter what color his skin was? It doesn't at the end of the day. That's a human thing. Judgment, skin color.
My Jesus was black. I don't know about hers, but
my Jesus is, I'm an image. I was made in his image. So whatever I am is it, not Jesus, but God or whatever. That's it. But I think there's a lot of politics that are put on. I think religion is a societal thing. I think color is a societal thing. I think if we didn't have these ideas about it and about God, like people argue over that all the time, whether he was black or white. Why does it matter? He was a good person, right? If you believe in Jesus, Jesus was a good person. He was an example of what every person should be. It doesn't matter what his skin color was, because at the end of the day, right, part of the reason why we pass so much judgment on each other is because of skin color. And I'm not immune from that. I'm an imperfect human, right? I automatically think something when I see a group of white people because we're all, I don't want to say indoctrinated, but we have experiences and we're all a certain way because of what we know and what we've seen and, what's happened in the world. I don't believe everything of the world has anything to do with God or Jesus. I think that that's us being humans and making our own choices, and some things that we have are not godly. And what else was a thing that God said? You're not supposed to praise any other idols, right? How many people do you know on earth? We literally have to have money to live at a place that was given to us. You know what I'm saying? And you think God did that? No, but I do think when you're far removed from it, you don't have a belief, you don't have faith, you don't, like you kind of said, you don't believe in anything greater than yourself. It's so much easy to be selfish and stingy. And I believe that's the devil right there. Not a person that, rules over hell. I think the devil is people that believe they're bigger than God. People that have created ways to make other people suffer, So that's why I said, I take it, like I said, I can think of it in many ways that fit today. Any story in the Bible, I can give an example of something that metaphorically that makes sense for. You know what I mean? Of like, whatever. That's like some people say we're living in hell on earth. Like this is hell because of how crazy it is and people are suffering, even though there's a God. Like people have to literally pay to have somewhere to live as if we weren't given a plentiful earth and water. And they say we're running out of water as if we weren't, you know what I'm saying? Like there's people that don't have water to drink as if we weren't given this for free and we're paying for it. And I don't believe that has anything to do with God. I believe that has to do with humans and some people that are so far removed that they just don't understand it. They don't understand how, it is to be compassionate and caring towards people, and just like white people that treat us whatever kind of way because we're black, same thing. That's the devil to me, when older people say, that's the devil right there.
That's her. That's her. That's
the devil right there. I think I identify with that. I fallen angel. That whole thing is like the devil is a fallen angel. He was a part of. He was God's son too, right? And he was a fallen angel. And I think that's perfect example for people that are so far removed from God and source that they do things like greed. They lie, they steal, they cheat, they. All the sins, and people do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not immune to it. I'm not the perfect human. I'm keeping 100%. But that's what I think. But I heavily believe in God. I heavily believe that I'm not the end all be all. Right. I have to ask him for permission. I have to tell him what I want and he gives it to me, and it might always look like what I want. But I gotta trust him. Well, for real.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any last thoughts? I know Lex be talking to me and she'd be like, what the fuck? I did not know she fucking thought like this.
Nope, I don't have
It's insane. No, but I guess I believe in God. You believe in God. Doesn't matter. He's a caring, compassionate, forgiving, loving, generous.
I was kind of like, spit it out.
He's amazing. Can we just say that? Can we give a clap for that? Yes. But you guys tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. And I know, don't freaking hate on me, guys. Like, be nice, because I know a lot of people are really serious about religion, and I'm not shaming you, and I'm not saying anything. I think that whatever you choose to believe in is what you believe in, and it structures your life. So that's all that really matters. But as long as it's not making you kill people and hate people, hey, I'm with you. So yeah. Hitler and all them, the cults and whatever. We don't believe.
Wait a minute.
We don't believe in none of that. Okay, but yeah, let us know what you think. What do you think about religion? Do you believe in God? Do you not believe in God? Are you atheist? If you are, I want to know why. Because I just really want to know. But damn, I didn't even say the intro. Wow. Thanks for joining us for another Two Ways episode, because there's more than one way to do anything. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.